Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make mods for Star Trek Infinite dealing with policies. If we look in the policies window of Star Trek Infinite, we can notice a few things. First of all, there's a lot less policy choices available than in Stellaris. Then the policies are grouped into external policies and internal policies, and not all policies really fit all factions. For example, giving your leaders full scholarships doesn't really seem like the Klingon thing to do. So I'm going to show you today how to play around with policies a bit. So to create a mod that changes policies in your test mod folder, or like in your mod folder that you have created, like I showed you in last video, you will need two subfolders in it, the common folder and the localization folder. In the common folder, you'll need the policies folder, inside of which you'll need the policies text file. You can find it in your game files, which you can access through Steam, and you go to Manage, Browse Local Files, and if you click that, you'll find this folder here, and then you go to Common, you'll go to Policies down here, and you take this file. And next to this file, you will also need a localization file, so that the text will be properly displayed. I made this mod in English, so I chose the English folder. You can find the localizations here, and then you choose a language, for example English, and then inside of that you'll need a replace folder, and inside of that you will need the Hornblower Policies English YML, which is this one here. And now that we have all of these files, we can start modifying them. I've already done this before, so that we'll get to do things a bit quicker now. Open it in our preferred editor, and we can see that here are the policies defined. So a policy consists of the policy name, and after that we open like equal sign, open curly brackets, and then the first thing that we see is potential. Potential defines whether it will be visible in your policy section in the game, and whether you'll be able to choose it. And you can have either individual statements, or you can group them together with or other logical operators such as and or. The next thing that we see is the external descriptor, which defines whether in the policy window in the game the policy will be grouped with the external or the internal policies. And then we have the options here. And the options again have a name, the diplomatic policies also reference an icon, and then again we have the potential. We can set a policy flag, and we can set modifiers. And if we scroll down here where I have created my own policies, not so far down. So to create a new policy, you can just copy one of the existing policy choices and edit those. And the policy that I've added is the officer training policy, where you can choose how extensively you want to train your officers, which affects how many officers you get and how well your ships will perform in battle. And I've chosen not to make this an external policy, and it's you always have the potential to choose this policy. And then here we have the 4 options, all of which is pretty simple stuff, which I've mostly just copied from the economic policy. Like one piece of advice that I would always give people is just look around in the game files, see what you can reuse, see what can inspire you to come up with your own things. And then if we just want to add one individual policy choice, like one individual option within a policy, we can do that too. For example, in the leader education, I thought that the full scholarships policy is not really the Klingon thing to do. So here in the potential section, I said we have the potential if the owner is not Klingon. And then I added a new policy option, which I called Forged in Battle, and this is only available to Klingons, and this has a slightly different modifier, which gives you extra leader skill levels, but this says leader age, but it is the maximum lifespan that gets reduced by 10 years. Yeah. One final thing that we have is the AI weight. That defines how likely the AI is to choose a policy, and it also defines what the default option is. And that just makes the like when you start up the game as a player, what will be chosen by default. AI weights can also be made dependent on various factors. For example, what kind of nation you play in base game Stellaris, what kinds of ethics you have. Another thing that we can do with policies is in the potentials to not just make them dependent on what kind of country you are, but also in some of the trade policies you'll see that they are dependent on having accomplished certain missions in the mission tree. Okay, but now that we have modified our policy file, the next file that we'll need to modify is the localization file. And if we go into here, English, replace, and this file here, and we open it with Visual Studio Code, then you see this here is the name of your policy choice, and all of the policies in this file here are the trade policies, but we can also put our new policy choices here. And what you need is a line that's the code name of your policy, :0, and then in quotation marks the display name of your policy. Then you'll need this line here, and then this line here defines the policy description that will be shown when you mouse over the policy. And now let's try out the game with our new policy changes. we enable the mod, we play, and we create a new game. When you add new policies to the game through modding, what will happen is that, like, adding new policy choices is fine, but if you add a new policy and start and load an old save file, then you won't be able to choose any of the policies in that choice. And now here we see we have our officer training policy, and here we see the name is being properly displayed as well as the description. One thing that I couldn't figure out so far was the actual policy choice name. If any one of you know where I could define this, then please leave it in the comments. And then here we see that the full scholarships policy is no longer available to the Klingons, but the forged in battle policy option is. And here you can also see what happens if you don't put your policy in the localization file, because then it just uses the standard code name. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and leave a like and comment if you have any questions.